Hello and welcome to the Wildlife Moto channel. So on today's video, if you're in the market for a small, simple and practical luggage solution for your Royal Enfield Interceptor or Continental GT, well, you've come to the right place, because today we're going to be taking a look at these guys. So this is a side panel bag from a company called Trip Machine, and it's called the Wingman. You can get them for both sides of your bike, and what they do is they replace those plastic panels that you get on the bike from the factory, which is why I currently have a big hole in the side of my bike. So they literally just bolt in place and give you a really practical little bit of extra storage for all that everyday stuff, like your spare keys, your driving license, your GoPro, your sat nav, your phone, all that stuff that normally ends up getting thrown inside your pockets. We now have a bespoke solution for our 650 twins, and I think it's rather cool. So in this video, I'm going to show you what it's all about. Let's jump in. Now, when you order these, there's a couple of options on the website. There's a cherry red, there's a tobacco brown, there's a black one, and then there's this one, which is called vintage tan. And as you can see, it's a kind of browny, almost slightly orange leather. You can see there. Nicely kind of aged. So it looks like it's got a bit of patina on it already, and that's just going to get better over time. Inside, quite a lot of space there for all those kind of everyday items, and the whole thing just zips up and then closes with this flap. And again, in true Trip Machine style, really nice brass hardware that holds it all together. Now, when you order these, you can order for either the left-hand side or the right-hand side of the bike, and it all comes pre-made for you. So you've got this metal backing, which is actually by MK Design. I think it's a collaboration with Trip Machine. So they do the panel work. Trip Machine put the bag on it. It all comes pre-installed, so you don't need to worry about that. The only thing you have to do is retain this part. This part is from the original panel from the factory side panels, and it's 2 bolts. So you take that off the plastic panels that you get on the bike and you just bolt it onto this, and then the whole thing is ready to install. Now, on the website you can choose either a left-hand panel or a right-hand panel. This one is the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, again, you retain this bit, and this bit has got the locking mechanism on the right-hand side. If it was me and I was only ordering one, because you can order one or a pair, I would go for the left-hand side of the bike. And that is because one of the small downsides of this installation is you will have to lose your factory tool roll. The little plastic tray that goes underneath the panel on the right-hand side of the bike is too chunky for these, and indeed many of the aftermarket metal panels that you get for these bikes. So that has to come off. So if you're a fan of that tool roll being behind that panel on the right hand side of the bike, just go for the left hand side, then you can keep your factory panel on this side and have your bag on the other side. Nice and easy. But if you go for both, I'll show you how to install it on both sides, because really it's not that hard. So let's jump in. Okay, so we're looking at the left-hand side of the bike, and when you order these from Trip Machine, you get everything you need in the bag to do the job. So, on the left-hand side of the bike, there is a bracket, and all it is a case of bolting it up here to the frame, and then just behind the left-hand shock, there's another mounting point. There's a bolt already in there that you'll take out, and you replace it with a new bolt that you get from Trip Machine, which is just slightly longer and will help you to retain this bracket in place. So once this bracket is in, you've got a couple of little threaded holes that you're just going to use to install your bag. So literally all you have to do, bolt there, get that bracket on. Then this little triangle bit here, which will be attached to your factory side panels, bolt there, nice and easy. And then inside the bag, we've got a couple of bolts that we need to take a look at as well. So inside the bag here, you see these 2 little dome-headed bolts. These come with the kit, so you just poke those through, one on either side, one there, and then you can see on the back of the bag, poking through the panel, are 2 bolts, and of course these just simply bolt up into the bracket. No need to do them crazy tight. Zips up, clicks down. Perfect. On to the next side. So if you're going to stick one of these bags on the right hand side of your bike, you are unfortunately going to lose the ability to have your factory tool roll behind that side panel. The factory side panels are designed to accommodate it. They flare out slightly so that there's space to have that tool roll tucked behind your panel. But as with my back panels, and the same case with these from Trip Machine, that tool roll retaining tray has to go. Now, there's another slight issue with doing that, and that is this little thing here, which is the seat release mechanism. So you pull this and that releases the seat. Now there's a little notch on that plastic factory tool roll holder that also holds this. So what will normally happen is you will find yourself with this thing just kind of flapping around. What I've got here on my bike is actually something really cool. Now this is a little custom made bracket from a guy that I know. I've been talking to him over email for probably a couple of years about different bits and pieces on the Interceptor, a guy called John, and he got in touch recently when he saw that I'd got these Wingman bags and said, hey, I bet you've got a problem with your seat release cord flapping about. Well, I've made a bracket for it. And here it is. He sent me one over from the US. And all it does is just bolts on to 2 mounting points here, and it's got a little groove in it that you just use to retain your seat release mechanism, which is really cool. Now, I think John might be making a few of these. This is a bit of a prototype, and I just spray painted this the other day, so it's not going to look as good as the ones he's making. But I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to get in touch and see if you can get one of these, because if you're doing this mod, or indeed if you've got like the back panels, it's a really cool little bit of kit to help eliminate this problem of a flapping seat release mechanism. Anyway, let's get on and I'll show you the bag on this side. So as with the other side, you are going to retain this part, and it's a good job on the right side of the bike because this is also your locking mechanism as well. So 2 bolts, you take this bit off the factory side panel. The other bits you're going to keep are the 2 rubber grommets here, because they're going to go up underneath the frame here and help the whole thing stay in place. There is no hardware to install on this side of the bike. There's no brackets or anything like that. So this is a technically easier installation, but you are going to lose your tool roll. It's the only thing to think about. So putting it on, when you're doing this, you do need to be a little bit careful you don't scratch your frame. So just be aware of that, but just slowly, I start by pushing it up so that the little pegs there are going through those rubber grommets, and then push it in place, and you'll feel it kind of click in, and then you can go ahead and unlock it, or lock it in my case. And there it is, that is done. It is a super simple installation on this side of the bike. No brackets to worry about. But as I said, if it was me, I would go for the left-hand side only if I was just doing one, purely because I'd get to keep my tool roll. But it's not really a problem because guess what? You can just put it in your bag. So there you go, super easy to install these on the bike. It takes minutes to do it, but if you do get stuck, there's a nice little video on the Trip Machine YouTube channel that you can watch. It just takes you through the various stages of putting this on the bike. So once it's on, you've got yourself a really nice practical luggage solution for all those everyday little bits and pieces that you're typically going to take out and about on the road with you. I think these are probably mainly for people that don't want to have a bigger luggage solution. Maybe you don't want to have panniers or big bags on your bike. You want to keep something quite small and tidy. But even if you do have panniers, like I've got here with my Hepco and Becker system, again, it works really nicely alongside these, so it's not going to cause you any problems there. Now, if you want to get these, they are £199 on the Trip Machine website. That gets you both the left-hand side and the right-hand side bags, and everything you need to get them on your bike. That includes the backing panels, all the nuts and bolts, the brackets, and you even get all the extra bits like rain covers and all that kind of stuff to put on these if you get caught in a bit of a downpour. So £199 for both sides. If you just want to go for one side, they're £110 each. And again, that includes everything you need. And personally, if it was me, as I said, I would just go for the left-hand side if I was getting one, because that way I get to keep my tool roll on the other side of the bike. But if you are going for both, or if you are going for just the right-hand side, I'll also leave a link down below to John's bracket that just sorts you out in terms of that seat release cord, which is just flapping about once you take that tool roll off the bike. So that just gives you a really tidy solution for that. Now, if you want to save yourself a little bit of money, you can go to the Trip Machine sites via the Wildlife Moto discounts link, which is also in the description below. And that just saves you a little bit of money on your purchase. So, happy days. Anyway, I hope this video has been helpful. If you're looking for a small and tidy luggage solution on your Interceptor and you don't want to go with things like tank bags and all that kind of stuff, I think this will sort you out good and proper. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Until the next one, ride safe.